Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's going on? To the Universal African Peoples Organization family, what's happening, as well as to New Life Evangelistic Center family, headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work. And a shout out to our cameraman, Bob. Again, we'll have another great show this evening because in studio with me is I have a very strong and dedicated colleague of mine who's also a member of our organization, Universal African Peoples Organization, as well as he's simply a businessman and activist. And I'm speaking none other than my good friend, Brother Larry Freeman. What's going on, Brother Larry Freeman?
Hey, Brother Zaki, how you doing today?
I'm well. You know, every time I start out the show, and you've been on a while back, I always like my audience to know a little bit about the person that I'm interviewing. So if you would, give a little background as to Larry Freeman, you know, however you want folks to know of your background.
Well, my name's Larry Freeman, and I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business since 2011. My father, his name is Larry Freeman Sr., from a small town in Arkansas called Forest City, Arkansas. And my mother, her name is Cynthia, a maiden name Cynthia Arbuthnot, not but Cynthia Freeman. She's since been deceased, and she's from a small town in St. Louis called Kinloch, Missouri. I think one of the first African-American towns in the state of Missouri.
Oh, okay then. So you mentioned Forest City. We have a link there because my wife of over 45 years actually lived in Forest City, from Forest City,
yes,
Arkansas. On that note, Larry, you made mention that you're a I made mention that you're a businessman.
Yes.
And you also reemphasized it. What is the significance when you say, are you a self-employed person?
Yes, to the max.
Okay, and how long have you been self-employed?
Since 2011.
Since 2011, so that's a period of about 10 years. What motivated you first and foremost to be self-employed, and what is the significance of being self-employed?
Well, I would say I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs on my grandfather's side, and so I would spend summers in Forest City, Arkansas. And also my grandfather built the first strip mall down there, a place called Freeman's Grocery. So I think going down there summers, I really enjoyed it, and just being up under him and his tutelage and seeing how he interacted with people.
You say your grandfather?
Yes, my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So we stayed in St. Louis, and I was born in University City, Eastgate, then we moved to Birch off of Olive. But during the summers, I would go spend the summers with my granddaddy, Charlie Freeman, and grandmother Bessie Freeman. Loved the place. And they had a store, and so I would be with him learning different things. So I think that's kind of probably what planted the seed.
As being an entrepreneur. So what would you say for those who may be exploring that idea? Because, you know, this country is built upon the concept of entrepreneurship, actually. What is the significance, would you say, of being an entrepreneur rather than working for somebody? Well,
it means a lot to me. First of all, it's tough. It's tough. You know, you have your ups and you have your lows, and there are definitely some benefits of working in a corporate America or with a big company, but it's priceless to me. You know, making your own money, making your own decisions, and in this big world, it's a very good situation for myself.
Okay, now you are in the oil business?
Yes, sir. Sell cologne, perfume, incense, oils, things of that nature, T-shirts, and also in the process of getting into commercial real estate.
Okay, then. So in terms of, is that your only stream of dollars as an entrepreneur, the oils? I think you also, do you deal with selling automobiles and that kind of thing too?
Yes, sir. Actually, I started in the business in 2000. In early 2000, I started at Suntrip Ford as a porter, and then I moved up to a car salesman. And once you start selling cars, it's kind of hard to get it out of your blood. So as well as my business on the side. To me and my wife, we buy and sell vehicles. Yes, sir.
Okay, then. Now, as an entrepreneur, I know you have your highs and you have your lows. Mm-hmm. Let's go with the low, working up to the highs.
Okay.
What has been what you say is a low point of being an entrepreneur?
I mean, you have your good days where you make a lot of money, and then some days you make very little. And so those days that you make little, you have to stay the course, and it really builds character. And also, I think a lot of times I put too much trust in people. And then when you put trust in people and they let you down, it's kind of disheartening. But then you have to shake it off, get your head back in the game, and keep it moving.
Now, what would you describe as some of the high points?
I think the high points is the respect level that I get, and the doors that have been opened for me, the people that I have met. And I think that, and also making a decent living. You know, I started with $100 investment back in 2011, and with God's favor and grace, I've been able to sustain. And again, it's opened a lot of doors and met a lot of people, and things are going in a good direction for me.
Okay, then now you have a couple of locations for your business in terms of the oil. Where are you located at?
Right now, we're in beautiful downtown Baden, 8106 North Broadway, in the Baden community. And just of recent last few months, we're located at 1790 South Florissant Road, in the BP gas station where the BP and McDonald's is connected right off Highway 70.
Now, your location in Baden has led you to being involved with a business association there. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to explore that on the other side of the break. We got to take a quick break.
As New Life Evangelistic Center works to get back into the 1411 Locust building, it has first responders that are on the streets day after day. It's helping the hurting and homeless, women and children through a wide variety of safe houses, along with homeless veterans and others that are in need, on-the-job training programs, and much more. And all of it's possible because of those of you that are supporting the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center. It's New Life Evangelistic Center that owns and operates NLEC TV, also seen on your set on 24.2. I want to encourage you to have that app put on your phone, NLEC TV. Encourage your family and friends to do the same. And as you support New Life Evangelistic Center and NLEC TV, you're also helping the Zaki Baruti Show and other programs that New Life Evangelistic Center produces. I'm asking you to please continue keep New Life in your prayers as we're working to be there when people are hurting. There's so many homeless women and children, so many people that are in need. And it's the prayers of caring people like you that make it possible for us to help each and every one of these individuals.
Hello, I'm Bernie Hayes, and I'm so proud to say that I am fully immunized. I received my COVID-19 shots, both Moderna shots, months ago. And I know so many other people who have them and know that they are safe and making their family and friends safe. If you're afraid to get the shot, just at least wear the mask. At least protect yourself and protect others around you. But it is so easy and it is free. Immunization is what we need to make everybody around us safe. You get the Pfizer shot, there's the Moderna shot, there's the Johnson & Johnson shot. There's so many ways, and it's free and easy to take. Please, I'm pleading with you to get the shot if you have any concern about yourself or any concern about your family. It's easy, it is free, and it is so well needed. If you can't get the shot or afraid to get the shot, at least wear a mask and stay distance.
How important are St. Louis Metro passes to the needy? To provide stability and permanent change to the homeless, they need jobs. But how do they get transportation to look for work when they have no money? And when they find a job, how will they get there? Become a part of NLEC's Metro Pass program and help bring enduring change to a life.
I have doctor's appointments that I have to attend, going to seek jobs and putting in applications. I really would like you to understand the importance and the need for this ministry, and anything that you can do to keep this ministry going. Please know that it is an extension of God's love.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is a businessman and activist, Brother Larry Freeman, who business is selling oils and fragrances as well as automobiles and whatever to make the almighty, what they call the dollar, okay? Legally,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
I appreciate that. Now, on the other side, your business that's located on Broadway, North Broadway, in the beautiful Baden area of St. Louis, you have become involved with an association of in that area. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And what is the name of that association?
Well, I do attend the business association meetings, but I am the vice president of ROBA, which is the Revitalization of Baden Association.
Okay, and what is its primary goal? The revitalization of the Baden
Association.
Association.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is the major objective of that association?
Well, the major objective of ROBA is to revitalize Baden. From my understanding, Baden at one time was a very, very prominent area, and it still has a lot of good potential.
Now, just for our audience, geographically, I know we have people outside of the St. Louis area, but also people in the St. Louis area. But for folks, especially in the St. Louis area, where geographically, what area does Baden cover?
Baden is Ward 2. It's right off of the Riverview Circle, so to speak. Riverview and Broadway. Broadway is a very, very highly traveled street.
Thoroughfare.
Yes, sir. In St. Louis. So it's in the city, but it's Ward 2.
Okay, then. And you say the objective of
is to revitalize. We are trying to bring residents back to the area and bring businesses as well. Baden is a very, very special place. And I say that because at one point I was going to leave down there and I looked around St. Louis and Baden really stands out. So I decided to stay, and we definitely have an uphill battle, but we're up for the challenge. It's a core group of us. Work with a very, very. I'm the vice chairperson president, and the president. Her name is Tashara Earl. Very, very smart, very sharp young lady. I work with a young lady, a lady by the name of Miss Gloria Gooden of Gooden Plumbing, Gooden and Daughters Plumbing. She was a schoolmate of my mother's in Kinlock High School, and she saw fit for me to be on this board. And very, very tough lady. We have Miss Eddie May. We have Miss Maylin.
Okay, then.
Mr. Eric Barber.
All right. Now, in terms of the objectives to revitalize, how is that coming along? Have you been able to have the organization been able to attract some other businesses to come into the area? We
are in process of doing some great things. I think as of recent, with the funds that have come to Missouri, St. Louis per se, in regards to bringing some neighborhoods up, we're actually in a very, very good situation. But again, we have an uphill battle, but we're working very hard and we are making progress.
Okay, then turning to another subject. Most recently, you had a balloon release in the spirit of your son, Larry Freeman, the Jr., right?
Larry Freeman III.
The third, that's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Your grandfather, I mean, there's several Larry Freemans there, right?
Yeah, my dad's Larry Freeman Sr., I'm Larry Freeman Jr., and that was Larry Freeman III.
Okay, what happened to Larry?
Well, Larry...
I mean, when we're doing balloon releases, it was in his memory. You had a great program commemorating his life.
Yes, sir.
And I know he had a tragic story behind the ending.
Yes, sir. Well, actually, I've had two sons die from gun violence, like, 7-8 months apart. Larry Freeman was July the 1st, 2012. Preston Freeman, March the 7th, 2013. So this was the 9th year that he had passed, and I wanted to do something commemorating his life.
Now, you mentioned two sons being taken away from you through violence.
Yes, sir.
Your thought, most recently, in fact, I was in Chicago most recently with a pastor that was having a walk from Chicago to Washington, D.C. to encourage President Biden to declare violence as a health issue. Your thoughts on violence, since you are a firsthand victim of that, your thoughts?
It's bad. It's bad, especially in St. Louis, Missouri. A lot of people say, well, it's bad other places. I don't know how other places are, but I can't relate to St. Louis, Missouri. And it's
and I must add, I agree. It's all across the country, though, but go ahead.
It's sad. You listen to the music, what they're talking about, and the guns that are available to the youth for, what ungodly reason. We're in some sad times. As a matter of fact, riding down Broadway last night coming home, and I seen a guy laying at the gas station on the evidently something had just happened. But we're in a bad way, especially in certain neighborhoods.
Now, you may mention there are some real contributing factors to violence, and you may mention music.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In fact, there's some conversation now that they need the weaponization of music against, people of color, meaning that a lot of this gangster rap that promotes nigger kill, nigger, all that kind of stuff, and degrading women, calling them B's and W's and what have you. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm 47. And I grew up, I would say, in the 90s area. And I'm a fan of gangster rap. I love the country rappers for the most part. 8-Ball, MJG, UGK. So I like...
You're saying some names out. There's a generation gap. I have no idea who you're talking about, but go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I like that music, but it has, as I get older, it has gotten worse. It has gotten worse. A lot of things that were not played on the radio, now it's a norm. And to know how it affects kids, my granddaughter, matter of fact, my son Larry had a young lady pregnant before he passed. So I have a granddaughter. Her name is Lauren London. I think you met her at the commemoration. And her and her sister, we ride in the car, and they were repeating. It was a good song that they were repeating. But I'm saying to myself, if they can repeat this, then what are they repeating when I'm not around? So I think it plants that seed, a negative seed. It is coming from the top down, and it's all bad, Zaki.
And when you say it's coming from the top down, what do you mean in it? But let's say that share that thought on the other side of the break. We got to have a break.
We can't just keep leaving the people out on the streets. It's time for us to organize. It's time for us to directly confront downtown St. Louis. Maybe it's time to actually call for a boycott of downtown St. Louis that will leave the hurting and homeless out on the streets. I thank God we have a new mayor that seems very sensitive to the needs of the homeless, but she needs our support. Because those economic development interests of the big developers, the condo owners, well, they can just really put a lot of pressure on her. She needs to know that you're standing with her when it comes to reopening 1411 Locust Street, that you're going to be there, that you're going to help support her, because all this pressure's on her right now by downtown interests. Maybe the time has come for us to organize and call for a boycott of downtown St. Louis until downtown St. Louis backs off, and the neighborhood organization downtown St. Louis backs off from allowing New Life Evangelistic Center from reopening 1411 Locust. So we've got to confront those special big money interests. And the time to organize such a boycott may be now. We've waited 4 years. People have been suffering on those streets day after day after day. So I want you to ask you to continue to pray for us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center as we desire to open 1411 Locust. I want to ask you to just let us know if you're willing to join us. Let Zaki know if it's time to organize and call for a boycott of downtown St. Louis, because it's inhumane that they will leave the homeless. You'll see them gathered around the statues. You'll see them in downtown parks. You see them out on the streets just trying to get a few dollars. No place for them to go during the day, and even when they open up the winter pop-up shelters, they're dumped back out on the streets during the day. That's inhumane. That's wrong. People shouldn't go on suffering like this. So it's time for us to pray about standing up, boycotting downtown St. Louis, rallying together as a community, and get this building opened back up. a place where they can rest during the day, a place that they can get showers, a place they can get clean clothes, a place they can store their belongings. That can all happen at 1411 Locust. If you'd like to join me, call me at 314-421-3020. You can write me at P.O. Box 473 in St. Louis, Missouri. I thank God for those of you that are supporting, caring, and sharing at this time.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is a businessman and activist, Brother Larry Freeman. And we were speaking of some of the factors that may have an influence on all of the mayhem that exists in our community. I'm talking about the killing and the shootings and what have you. And we were talking about the impact of music. And on the other side, you were talking about the top-down factor. What do you mean by the top-down factor?
When I say that, I mean the people at the top have to know what's being talked about and what's said. And anybody with any common sense, now don't get me wrong, I like the beat. But if a young person is on drugs, drinking, or what have you, and they listen to that, what's the chances that they may do some of the things that's being said in the song?
Subliminally, the messages I totally agree. And I always wonder if the lyrics was changed, instead of saying a nigga, shoot this nigga, shoot a white person or shoot a Jew, how long would that music be in existence?
It wouldn't be. It would never be in existence.
Right. So with that said, I made mention that you're an activist.
Yes, sir.
But first of all, let me go back to in terms of, and as one father to another father expresses my condolences to your losses. Have the people who perpetrated the violence upon your sons, were they caught and incarcerated?
On Little Larry, the gentleman was incarcerated. It took a long time, but was incarcerated. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to follow up on some things in regards to that. But Preston, my other son, the gentleman, he killed himself. He hit a tree racing. Matter of fact, probably he got killed in U City at the time Club Escalade. Now it's Elmo's Love Lounge. But maybe a mile or two from there, the guy was from U City. He killed himself.
Oh, wow. Okay, then. So having suffered those losses, and I had made mention as an activist, how long have you been, quote unquote, an activist?
I've been in the UAPO since.
And who is the UAPO?
The Universal African Peoples Organization, led by you. I've been with you probably since 2012. So I've been dibbing and dabbing, but I would say within the last 3 or 4 years, things have gotten a little bit, some blinders have been taken off, and I'm really, looking at things the way they are. So I think I've probably become more involved the last 3 or 4 years. Okay,
but prior to that, you had not been involved in any, but prior to joining the Universal African Peoples Organization, you had not been involved in any kind of social movement and what have you?
Hadn't thought about it. But when things happen to you in your life, it can turn on a light switch. And that was the beginning for me waking up, so to speak.
Okay, then. And when you say the light switch, I know for my own self, I've been an activist since I was about 18. Mm-hmm. And I never forget the light switch for me was the murder and assassination of 2 Black Panthers in Illinois named Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. And like how people protest on George Floyd and Michael Brown, that led me to my very first organizing a demonstration in East St. Louis, Illinois. Just a little history on my own self. Yes, but on that note, we got to take one last break.
An epidemic of homelessness is sweeping throughout the United States of America. In city after city, people are ending up on the streets. Now, instead of feeling overwhelmed, as believers, we can do 3 things. We can give, we can volunteer, and we can pray. We can pray for the homeless refugees that we're finding in one city after another, all over the United States. So many people ending up out on the streets, and the hearts of so many are growing cold at this particular time and indifferent to the need. Jesus said, as oft as you've done it to the least of these, he said, even so you've done it unto me. When's the last time you've prayed for the homeless refugees in the United States of America, appearing in city after city, not only in major cities, but even smaller cities? So many people ending up out on the streets, even in resort areas, places you never think you'd find homeless people. They're there. Jesus said, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but he, the Son of Man, had nowhere to lay his head. Please pray for the refugees. Please pray for the homeless people in America. And pray for those that are on the front lines, the first responders, reaching out through Jesus Christ among the homeless and hurting, whether it's in Springfield or St. Louis. Your prayers and gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center makes a big difference. This New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, is 63166.
2 Timothy 1, verse 10.
But it has now been revealed through the appearing of our Savior, Jesus Christ, who has destroyed death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Larry Freeman, who's going to be here just for a few more minutes. And on the other side of the break, we're talking about his involvement in being an activist and working with the Universal African Peoples Organization. So how have you experienced being with the Universal African Peoples Organization?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
So how have you experienced being a member of the Universal African Peoples Organization?
It's been really good. It's been really good for me, my soul, and what I'm about.
And why is that?
Because it's not money motivated. You know, in the past, whatever I've done is kind of to move forward and maybe to make some money. And this is on a different note. This is for the people, trying to maybe help somebody first of all, not go through what I went through. And then if they did go through what I went through, to maybe give them a beacon light to let them know it's going to be okay and to be of any type of assistance that I can be.
So what have been, and I'm asking those questions because at the same time, you know, our organization has a membership drive of conceptually 144,000. What has been one or two high points of your involvement with the organization that you appreciated the organization dealing with?
Well, just being involved on certain events. Just recently, we had the commemoration of the Tulsa Massacre in 1921, Tulsa Massacre. And that was so important because me and my wife, we were talking and she said, you know, if that wouldn't have happened, the generational wealth that could have came from that passed down, if that would have kept going, then maybe their sons or their grandsons wouldn't have did certain things, wouldn't have had to be in certain situations because they had money flowing or, it was passed down. That's what other races do. They pass it down to make it easier for the next generation. And also, just on a bright note, I talked to you a couple weeks ago, and that was kind of like, I ain't gonna say a fork in the road, but to know that I'm in the right situation with you and doing what I'm doing. Kim Gardner's, we had a press release for Kim Gardner, and you called me and I said, okay, I'm on my way. And I think there is some CPT, but anyway, I was on my way and running a little late. It was a traffic jam. And I thought that you were going to be, and I didn't make it because I went to work. I thought you would be upset with me for not making it. But when I called you, the first thing you said, Larry, don't worry about it. I know your heart. So that made me feel good for your leadership qualities.
Well, I appreciate that. And for our audience, what he's mentioning is the press conference we had in support of Kim Gardner, who's under tremendous attack as the first black circuit attorney, first black woman circuit attorney. On that note, though, Larry, it's been real good, short and to the point.
Yes, sir.
To the audience, I always like to leave with a message that you ought to join a progressive organization that speaks truth to power. We say join the Universal African Peoples Organization, as well as be a voter. And again, Larry, much success has been a businessman and an activist. May God continue to bless you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Baruti.